Now, if you know me, you know my reverence for Malcolm X. You know how much respect I have for Malcolm X. And when I was younger, shout out to One Hood, you know, I got the pleasure of opening for Ilyasa Shabazz, Malcolm X's daughter, all because of the grace and the mentorship of my OGs. Where did you Siri X, man? Thank you. Um, and I learned so much studying Malcolm X. But one of the biggest things that stood out to me as a Kenyan man, right, was Malcolm X's reverence for the MauMau and the importance that he felt Pan-African connections held in the liberation of melanated people globally, right? This is why I say all the time, when Africans decide to truly listen and study Black Americans, the strong, intelligent, foundational Black Americans that paved so much of the way, a lot of the Pan-Africanism that we wished would have happened would be here, right? So let's dive into a little bit of what Malcolm X had to say, right? Because this ended up becoming a major thing in American society. Let's see what Malcolm X had to say about the MauMau. Actually, before we get to that, man, look, everybody, I don't cut my hair and I keep it in locks out of respect for all of the freedom fighters that died. The Rastas you see who got these locks upon their head. Haile Selassie didn't have locks, man. No, this was in solidarity. The Rastas did it in solidarity with the MauMau freedom fighters, right? And these same locks colonize Kenyans to this day. Call it dirty. Call it dirty. With ill minds. With ill minds. But let's look at what Malcolm X had to say about the MauMau. Let's look at what Malcolm X had to say, man. Where is it at? There we go. There we go. In 1964, Malcolm X visited Kenya as part of a broader African tour, where he met with leaders like Jomo Kenyatta and Oginga Odinga and embraced the Mau Mau struggle for independence, viewing it as a model for Black liberation movements globally. Here is a more detailed look at his visit. Malcolm X's trip to Africa, including Kenya, was a significant part of his final year as he shifted his focus from the United States to international anti-colonial struggles, right? A lot of the freedom fighters, in the States, started to shift globally, and they started to interact with our freedom fighters on the continent. Remember, for those of you Africans who are ignorant of Black American history, yet you want to come to America, bring your children, bring your families, get jobs off the sweat, blood, and tears of Black American freedom fighters, yet you know nothing of the history. Shame on you. Shame on you, right? Because of the reverence and respect that the Black American leaders had of African leaders and African freedom fighters. It was not reciprocated, and it's about damn time it is reciprocated. Let's keep going. He met with Kenyan President Jomo Kenyatta and other leaders, learning about Kenya's independence and the Mau Mau struggle. He also interacted with Oginga Odinga, a prominent Kenyan political figure, right? Malcolm X's perspective. He saw the Mau Mau struggle as a powerful example of resistance against oppression and a model for Black liberation movements worldwide. This man, Malcolm X, saw what many of us Kenyans see today as revisionist history, as Mungiki rebellion, right? This man saw this as a beacon of hope, even when so many Africans did not see it. So many Africans did not see it. To this day, they still don't respect the MauMau in the way that they should, right? He emphasized the connection between the struggles of African Americans and those of people of African descent globally, right? Globally. Malcolm X famously said, "We need the same type of MauMau here that they had over there in Kenya," highlighting his admiration for the Kenyan resistance. Now, what did the Federal Bureau of Investigation and J. Edgar Hoover do in response to that, right? J. Edgar Hoover was, I believe he was the director of the FBI. He damn sure was very seriously, heavily involved in COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO, for those of you who don't know, is the counterintelligence program that the FBI instituted to destroy Black nationalist groups, right? But there's a reason why. There's a reason why they were so scared, right? There's a reason why they were so scared. Let's go to that real quick. Give me 1 second while I find that out. There's a reason why they were so scared. And it had everything to do with Malcolm X. Had everything to do with Malcolm X. The entire time Malcolm X was there we go. The entire time Malcolm X was having these discourses, the feds were listening. You know what I'm saying? The feds was listening. This is what the FBI had to say. March 3rd, 1968, the FBI sent a memorandum to their field offices with a set goals for their counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, against African American nationalist groups. The goal was to block attempts to coalesce, grow, and exist by militant Black nationalist groups. The FBI believed unity was the first step toward a MauMau style uprising in the United States and the beginning of a Black revolution, right? They believed unity. The FBI believed unity was the first step toward a MauMau style uprising. That's how influential they were. That's how influential they were. That's how influential they were. The Jamaicans saw it, they said, man, Rasta, you know, right? American youth today don't even know that's where it come from, but they still rock the lock. Still rock the locks, right? I'm a Kenyan man. I know many Kenyan men. White men revere their freedom fighters. They build statues of them. And granted, there's a statue of Dedan Kimathi, right? Word to whoever ideas it was to make a statue of Dedan Kimathi. But this right here is pure Pan-Africanism. That is Pan-Africanism. Not Dr. Umar's brand of, you know, of snow bunnies. No, man. This right here is Pan-Africanism. This right here is Pan-Africanism. The fear of a MauMau style uprising in America. That was what Malcolm X wanted. And now get this. Let's let me look up Malcolm X and Piogama Pinto. Because Piogama Pinto, right? Piogama Pinto was an MP in Kenya, right? Piogama Pinto was an MP in Kenya. Let's look at this right here. They had a lot of discourse together, and we'll get to that in another video. But their discourse together was immense. Malcolm X was killed February 21st, 1965 in New York. Piogama Pinto was killed 3 days later in Westlands in Kenya, in Nairobi. And you people think this is a coincidence? This is not a game. This is not a game. They saw us team up during colonization and segregation. And now they're seeing the diaspora rise at a level it never has. And so now white South Africans are deciding to do the exact thing with Americans that blacks in America did with Africans. The colonizer is now teaming up with the other colonizers just the same way the oppressed people were teaming up with the oppressed people, right? You need to peep game. But all of you passive Africans who just want jobs, you just want finances, and you just want acceptance in white society, you will not read or study or discuss the elements of freedom, justice, and equality that your forefathers fought and died for. You just want your children to be doctors. You just want your children to be lawyers. You just want your children to go to smart white schools that'll get them wherever they need to go so that you can say, oh, my child went to a white school, a nice Catholic school. No, and they are not African in their minds. They are useless bodies with great skills to uphold white society. And you might be one yourself. If you are not, let it fly. If it don't apply, let it fly. But a hit dog will holler.